I was getting beaten by my father every 5 seconds. Bikie, you know.
My daughter died in a house fire. She was only 8. The main reason why I'm homeless.
I escaped domestic violence when I was 13.
Government, Australian government.
We just need to get off these streets, mate. I'm telling you, it's a big thing.
There are over 122,000 homeless people in Australia right now, with 25,000 being Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islanders, and a crazy 18,000 of them being children under 12 years old. 56% of our homeless population are male, and 44% female. And according to the 2021 census, the rate of people experiencing homelessness in Australia has increased by 5.2% since 2016. Northern Territory has the highest rate of people living on the streets, while Western Australia has the lowest. The biggest cause of people living without a roof over their heads in our country is domestic violence. But why does a progressive first world country like Australia have such a large homeless crisis? Why are 18,000 children under 12 years old homeless? And why hasn't more been done to stop this? I decided to go onto the streets of Sydney to find out firsthand. What do you think about the Australian homeless population right now?
There is a fair bit of homeless people around. I see it all the time when I'm walking around the streets and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, well it's a big issue, of course. It's the same at home in Ireland. It's devastating to see. So I know it's not just here, it's not just at home, it's a worldwide issue.
What do you think needs to be done for them to get themselves out of their situation?
Some affordable housing, which is pretty hard in Sydney. It's really expensive here.
I have seen on the news of people living in tents and stuff, so it is pretty bad.
How do you think these people have gotten themselves into that position?
I just think it's lack of housing, you know. Something has to be done for them people, you know. It's just sad to see people like that.
Do you know where we can find some people that we can interview that may be homeless in Sydney?
Go in the park. Yeah.
It's easy to assume what it would be like being homeless, but what about hearing from these people actually living out this nightmare every single day? I decided to travel to Central Park in the CBD of Sydney to see if I could interview some people actually experiencing this firsthand. How long have you been homeless for?
On and off for 15 years.
What was your upbringing like, and how did that shape you to where you are today?
Pretty, man. We had to fight to survive, and it's made me the person I am today, which is basically I need to get my life back on track. And yeah.
How much do you think your upbringing created you to become reliant on?
I got myself hooked onto the eye, and then just lost it from there.
And in terms of the last 15 years, what would you say the lowest point of the last 15 years was?
Living on the streets.
And where are your family living right now?
I haven't heard from any of my brothers or my sister-in-laws or my mum for the time being, but I hope they're doing well.
What's your name?
Sally Morgan.
What does this sign say?
Well, I'm after food, clothes and accommodation. Pay ID, a bit of help. I'm on the streets, homeless.
And how long have you been homeless for?
About 2 years.
And 2 years ago, were you living with someone or your family?
I know I had a house in Camberdown. I give my kids parole and it just messed me up.
What was your upbringing like?
A rough life, mate. Domestic violence right through. I escaped domestic violence when I was 13, 14 from Moree.
What advice would you give people out there from your own life experience on how to make the right choices in their life?
Oh, you got me there, brother.
It was sad to hear about how these people lived such a troubled life, but I really wasn't prepared for what happened next. What are your thoughts on the amount of homeless people in Australia, and how can they help themselves?
Addiction is a big thing. Addiction, you know what I mean? We need to go to rehab. It's hard to be clean in this life that we've lived.
When we get out, we don't get housed. What do they expect us to do? Well, not to help each other out.
There's no services. How do you expect to get help? There's no help there.
I've been out since the 4th.
Out of prison since
August, I ain't got no help whatsoever.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm tying the line with parole now because I've got mental health issues. They won't help me sort that out.
Really?
9 years since I've seen my kids too.
Wow.
And government, Australian government,
Of course,
I'll take to Canberra. I'll scull all you politicians.
For sure.
Some of us are finding nowhere to go and becoming. A lot of people are gone.
It's easy to go to jail because first of all you get fed 3 times a day. You get a roof over your head. You can if you want. You're with the boys.
Do you guys want to share a bit of your background of maybe how you got into the life that you're living right now?
I was born into a bad blood of society and tried to erase all the cynical was back in the day, and I didn't quite get them all, but I'm still going.
I was getting beaten by my father every 5 seconds. Bikie, you know.
Been on the priority housing list for 15 years, homeless. Like, when are they going to give me a place?
I put myself on the street to get away from a toxic relationship into a good one, so I've been on the street for 11 weeks now. It's all for the best.
I've tried
Plenty of times, I lost plenty of mates. We just need to get off these streets, mate. I'm telling you, it's a big thing. You can't sleep in no tents and that because we're paranoid. You can't close our eyes or nothing like that.
If you had the choice between addiction, because it's such a hard thing, and having a place to live, a lot of us boys, like, we just don't know anything better but to escape all this trauma that we've been through, yeah?
Wayside Chapel. If you go there, you see a lot of trauma. Yeah, a lot of trauma. There's people there crying their eyes out, you know, just not knowing what to do, you know. I've caught two people on the tree about. You know, I've caught people and everything just so they could get off the streets.
One thing that was really interesting to me was that I didn't know that there was such a huge homeless crisis in Australia, especially for those sorts of people that have just gone out of prison and have had tough upbringing. So I'm pretty shocked. It was sad to see what these guys have to experience every single day, and I wanted to investigate this homeless crisis even more. I decided to go to Wayside Chapel in King's Cross to check out the great work that these people seem to be doing and to find out how they're positively impacting many people's lives. All right, what's your name?
Richard.
And what's the reason that you come to Wayside Chapel?
Just to get it away from everyday life, being homeless.
How long have you been homeless for?
On and off for the last 20 years.
And what do you think caused you to become homeless?
My daughter died in a house fire 23 years ago.
Wow.
And she was only 8, so that had a detrimental effect on me, and that's the main reason why I'm homeless.
Wow. So before your daughter passed away, were you living in a house?
Yeah.
And would you say your life was fairly normal before then?
It was, until that happened, then life changed. I turned into drinking. I was an alcoholic for 15 years, and I've been clean now for 6.
So how was your family life when you were younger?
It was good. But as I said, once my daughter died, all that changed. Just went down into a deep depression and never recovered from it. And I still suffer from it from day to day. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think of her, and I know there's nothing going to bring her back, and I wish I could, but I can't. But she's always there with me. Every step of this journey that I'm taking at the moment, she's always there with me.
And did you have a partner during the time when she passed away?
Yeah. She fell into a deep depression and she passed away about 7 years ago. So,
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's okay.
And do you feel like you have any hope for the future?
Yeah, I do. I do.
And if you could go back to the time where your daughter passed away, do you think you would have done anything differently?
Yeah, I would have. I would have got her out of that fire.
Hearing the different stories of how people just like you and I are struggling on a daily basis was truly an eye-opening experience. It became evident that we need to put pressure on those in charge to do more to help these individuals with things like housing and education. I'm sure at some point in our lives, we've all lost our way, but the people and resources around us were there to help us recover and bounce back. It's our collective responsibility to raise awareness for the issue of homelessness in Australia and to extend a helping hand to the fellow Aussies who have lost their way. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and make sure to check out my Patreon, which is linked in the description below, to see extended, uncensored and unseen clip that didn't make the final cut.